Here's a question. What makes a Hall of Fame NFL coach? Is it Super Bowl victories, far and above everything else? Is it one loss record potential? Is it creative impact on the game? So, NFL Hall of Fame ballot's got all the retired players. Then they got these other categories. The contributor category for somebody who invented something that impacts the NFL. Contributor category, somebody who was a great owner, somebody who was a great leader, did things on behalf of the game, did things on behalf of the players, etc. And then there's the coaches category. So they have just released the list of the finalists for the Hall of Fame coaches category. I'm going to run through this list for you. You just think about this for a second. What defines a great coach? On the list, legendary Giants and Jacksonville head coach Tom Coughlin, Denver Broncos head coach Mike Shanahan, 49ers iconic coach George Seifert. All those guys won 2 Super Bowl rings. Dan Reeves, tremendous head coach, got to the Super Bowl 4 different times. Mike Holmgren, architect in Green Bay, architect with the Seattle Seahawks. Back in the day, Chuck Knox and all the things he accomplished. Buffalo, LA Rams, up in Seattle. 200-win Marty Schottenheimer, never got to the Super Bowl. And the guy that invented the T formation, the single wing, and that eventually became the pro set, Clark Shaughnessy, legendary coach from back in the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s. Those are some of the 11 finalists for the Hall of Fame coaches ballot. So what defines a Hall of Fame coach? And these names here, what attracts your attention?
Well, from my point of view, you got to be a winner and you got to be an innovator in order to be, considered for the Hall of Fame. It's hard to say no to any of those names. The last guy on the list I'm not familiar with because that was a long time ago. But even guys like Chuck Knox have had great careers. Now, I don't think he ever won a Super Bowl, but, he had a very solid career. We all know Marty Schottenheimer never won a Super Bowl, but had great teams and a lot of success. But for every one of those, like Coughlin, he was kind of a nondescript guy, but it's hard to argue with 2 Super Bowls.
Thank you, Eli Manning.
Yeah, and then George Seifert, kind of took the baton from Bill Walsh. I think he's very deserving because he was a great defensive coach too.
And Shanahan?
Oh, for sure. That was the Elway era. And and he won 2, right? I mean, in 98 and 99, I think. So, there's a lot of great coaches on that list.
Tough call.
I mean, did they have a limit on how many they'll take?
1.
Only 1?
I believe, yes.
How in the hell do you pick just 1?
That's why the list is the list and the great names keep getting added on.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so we got that. That's an amazing story. You remember this guy, quarterback the Broncos and quarterback the Bears? Went and became a broadcaster for about 15 minutes, didn't like it. Jay Cutler gets arrested.
Oh, God.
Former Bears Broncos quarterback Jay Cutler arrested in Tennessee, DUI, auto accident, guns in his car. So he's charged with drunk driving, etc., illegal possession of a firearm. Now we find out when the accident occurred, do you know who I am?
Oh, God.
He asked the person whose car he hit not to call the police. Offered the person $2,000. In essence, a bribe. Person went, I've been involved in an auto accident. And Jay Cutler's got a lot of problems on his hands. Why would he do that? It's over. Period, exclamation point, end of conversation about, do you really like the investment you made? I'm talking about Cleveland Browns. I'm talking about Deshaun Watson, ruptured Achilles tendon yesterday in a non-contact play. Move in the pocket, takes a step forward into the pocket, goes down like a sack of potatoes. Ruptured Achilles tendon. They're going to do brace surgery. They think he's going to be out 8 months. What a disaster the Browns are. And now they got all this money and they can't cut him. And they obviously don't have a quarterback. It's a big, big issue there. And then obviously the New York Jets. Now the trade for Devontae Adams to put him into that rotation with Aaron Rodgers and all those other wide receivers and the running back Breece Hall, that's a pretty good offense. Now they get the holdout linebacker back. The end of the holdout on Sunday night, and Hassan Reddick, Pro Bowl linebacker, big pass rush specialist, who had violated his contract, refused to come to camp. He's cost himself $12 million in fines, missed game checks, and then He eradicated all the workout bonuses he had by not showing up. So he's going to make $9 million coming in. And what got him to come in, he changed agents. What got him to come in was, we'll throw some incentives into this contract where maybe you can get back the kind of money that you forfeited, $12 million. Can you imagine? Well, you're weird. You might not give a crap if you lost $12 million. Can you imagine giving up $12 million in a contract dispute? Didn't win anything. He's lost half a season, but he checked in today. He reported that holdout is over. So those are the unique storylines from the NFL Notebook. We talked about the coaches. You want to talk about Cutler? You want to talk about Deshaun Watson? You got a solution to that? Because Browns fans are on suicide watch right now. Holy cow, their season's over.
Well, first of all, Hassan Riddick came to his senses. Take the money. He's under contract. Take the money.
What's left of it?
What's left of it, but it's still what you said, like $9 million or whatever it is. So take the money. Always, bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. So he came to his senses. The Browns are a disgrace. That whole Deshaun Watson thing, I mean, it's kind of karma in a way, coming back to get you. But who's the Browns' backup quarterback?
A kid from UCLA, Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Oh, at DTR. Yeah.
Off the bench, he can play some, but he can't play real well. And the third quarterback, Jameis Winston, who probably he's got more credentials than DTR, but he turns the football over. Maybe they're going to have to wind up going to him. But just a disaster. And the Browns are in so much salary cap hell. If they were to release him, if they were to give up on him, cut him, they get a $73 million cap hit each of the next 2 years.
Holy crap.
Which would be an all-time record in the NFL because they kept restructuring his deal.
Well, at some point you got to wash your hands of this. And, it's what they say, it's like a sunk cost.
Yeah.
The money's already been spent. So you got to make a call there. Jay Cutler's a punk. He's always been a punk.
Nice common sense.
Yeah. And so, come on. I mean, when I saw that headline, I went, okay, it's Jay Cutler doing this sort of thing.
And that's a Vanderbilt guy. That's a smart dude.
Oh, yeah.
You know who he reminds me of? I look at him. I look at the way he conducts his business, the smirk on his face. Trevor Bauer. Smart dude.
Yeah. I can see that.
Why are you in this situation?
Yeah. So that guy, I mean, he's had a checkered past of these kinds of incidents, but he's always been mega talented, and he just never became what we thought. Now, he was in Denver, and then I think Chicago. Those are the only two teams?
I believe so, and he was out of the league.
Yeah.
I think he kind of retired early and was going to go into TV because he was glib. There was an attitude. There was a smirk. And either he didn't like it or they didn't like him, and that was short-circuited pretty quick.
Well, it just seems he's like an unlikable guy from what I've kind of picked up, although he always has usually a hot girlfriend or a wife or whomever is hanging out.
Or both.
Yeah.
Okay, those are topics on the table.